Hey guys, we just got back from The Mummy starring Tom Cruise as sort of Universal's vehicle for setting their own Marvel universe is what they're doing. And, you know, Joe was saying...
Why are they doing
that?
Why?
That's a great
If you're going to bring shit out like that, take it back.
Joe, come on
it's
now.
Not ready.
Hold on.
Put it back in the oven.
Universal.
Put it back in the oven. It's not done.
If anybody gets to use it, you know what? Universal did this first. Okay. Back in the 1940s with all their monster films. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature of the Black Lagoon. And they're going to do all that shit again. And they're so confident that they're going to win with this that they've hired on Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man.
No.
Yes, I'm serious. There's a picture.
Are you serious?
Yes, Javier as Wolfman. Of course, they already has Sophia as the Mummy, and of course, the star power of Tom Cruise to get this film.
Look, just because you were the first at something does not mean you're good at it.
Right.
So be honest with that.
The film opens literally with a Dark Universe logo that feels so out of place. We don't care. Make us care first. When you're putting up that logo, it's like it's that try hard feeling. And that's the major problem with this film. Its tone, it tries to be a lot of different things, setting up the universe, without even really setting this fucking movie up properly first. The story's not very good. The dialogue is not very good. And what we have is a bunch of set pieces, really, of CGI or action spectacles that frankly will keep you entertained, but by the end you will feel unsatisfied. You will feel like really
nothing really happens.
Empty.
Yep.
Well, stuff does happen. Let's be honest. Stuff does happen in this particular universe, and they try to set up as best as they can, but it was unsatisfying ending and unearned.
It was definitely unearned. And honestly, it felt like you said, they spent way too much time focusing on the fact that we're going to have multiple movies, and so they were like, let's just let everyone know that and fuck the entire movie.
Yeah, so not really a spoiler. We got Russell Crowe in this film, and I think Russell Crowe does a fantastic job as Dr. Jekyll. I like his character. I like the way he played it. And so he's this leader of this. What's the Prodigium?
Yeah.
You forget that name instantly.
I didn't even know.
Prodigium. I had to write it down over there on a friggin' card. And it's basically Marvel's Agents of Shield or Shield. And I don't know. It doesn't work to me. They try the whole comedy. They do the formula. It feels very formulaic. Yep. You got your action pieces. You got your comedy to make things light. No comedy, right.
No, because I actually like Jack Johnson. He's a very funny guy, but I was like, all right, I see he's in this movie.
Yeah, he's sort of the sidekick.
Yep.
No, he wasn't funny. I don't know who Jack Johnson is. I haven't seen where he comes from, but I found the guy incredibly annoying after he was actually good in the first 10, 20 minutes, when they're soldiers. And I was like, okay, he's a funny guy. But then after that, the tone, the way he looks, the way he's talking, he plays it so jokey when it's sort of kind of a serious kind of thing. We don't want to spoil it. We'll talk about spoilers in a separate section. But it does not work. And that extends to the whole film. The tone is fucked up.
Yep.
And not once did I laugh except for one really funny joke that has to do with Tom Cruise's character that he plays. Tom Cruise plays this asshole.
Every single movie, cocky, arrogant asshole. That's Tom Cruise.
I guess so. But I can't help but like him here. Yep. He's got this thing with this Jenny character played by Annabelle Wallace, and she is not really a presence in the film. She feels completely pointless. She's just there to read hieroglyphics, and there is no chemistry between Tom Cruise and this
so character. Little chemistry that if you just think about what reasons they give for them to try to build chemistry the entire movie, it's the stupidest fucking focal point.
Stupidest
shit.
It's
unnecessary.
It's just I hated it. And by the third act, you really need to be invested in their relationship to give a shit. They go the angle where let's rely on what we've built up with this relationship, which is 0 out of 10 on this relationship. I'm serious. It's that bad in my opinion. And so because of that, there's no emotional weight in the third act. Really, the things that I liked about the film is the sort of, the set pieces, the action. But the old Mummy franchise had that.
Better action. Yes,
Brendan Fraser.
Maybe not
Brendan
not as
Fraser's.
good CGI because it is now, 10, 15 years later.
Well,
or
I gotta
whatever.
talk,
Yeah,
dude.
I remember going
Damn,
on his
Brendan
school
Fraser's
field trip.
franchise was way more entertaining.
Yeah.
It knew the tone. It handled the goofy sort of, action spectacle a lot
with
better.
And the thing is about that too is like even though that was old CGI, it was good for the time. But even now, dude, you go back
It
and watch
does
those
look
films.
good, some of
those
them.
freaking beetles going up that guy's arms and eating him from the inside out. That's super
yeah.
cringe. That makes you crawl.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
nothing like that in this movie.
Yeah, they got mummies.
Yeah.
Mummies versus zombies.
Zombies.
Who came first? Really, we
Zombies.
looked it up.
It was zombies
actually
came first.
They came out the same year. Zombies and
Yep.
mummies and zombies in films the same year, but we think it's zombies first because mummies came towards December.
couple months.
But mummies were way more popular for the longest time, and then zombies came. But so we have water mummies. You've seen that in the trailer.
but
They do the whole.
swimmers.
Yeah, I was surprised at how good they are at swimming. Really, zombies would probably just kind of walk through the water
Yeah.
instead of swim through the water. And they do the whole sand spectacle, like three different times in this film. And it's just played out.
It's played out.
Yeah.
It was nice to see in Brandon Fraser's version, but here it feels like they're doing it just because the previous franchise did it. However, does the action look good? Do the effects look good? Yes, for the most part they do. And I will give it this. Some of the when the mummy first escapes, right? This female mummy, she does look genuinely nasty, creepy. They got some good bone cracking effects.
I was hoping she would stay like that through the entire thing. 'cause
Yeah,
that
you liked
actually-
it like that?
Yeah, that's a good horror.
I actually
movie,
kind of
yeah.
like her kind of sexy look
no,
too.
The entire time I was like, that happened. I was like, well, she's hot. I kind of want to be with her.
Yeah, it's like, no, I want to kiss her.
like,
and
what,
have
you're
her-
gonna be my queen?
And be
All
a
right,
queen.
I'll
All
do
right,
it.
let's do it. That's what
Fuck the
really.
world.
She wants Tom Cruise. She wants Tom Cruise. He is the chosen one. And
Hey, I'm what, 5'6",
but, hey,
2"?
no,
All right.
Joe, you're the same
We're
height as
about
Tom
the same
Cruise.
size. You take me.
Yeah, so.
I think the best way to put it, like OJ said, it was scary when she was in her mummy form and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like that movie, it just didn't know if it wanted to be a horror, it didn't know if it wanted to be a comedy, it didn't know if it wanted to be an action film, and because it didn't focus
No,
on any one thing,
here's the thing. It knew it wanted to be those things, but
but
it didn't do
It
them
just
good.
didn't do any of them good.
It didn't do any
they
of
were
them
like,
good.
let's do everything, but only mediocre.
And so it pleases nobody in that sense. The airplane scene that you've seen where the airplane's tearing up and he's doing this floating, and I heard that Tom took like 40 takes of the thing. He's such a good professional and it looks amazing. It was great. One of the best parts of the film.
You can see it in the trailer.
But you see it in the trailer, and that thing can't carry the whole damn film. So, a series of set pieces. You go to London, to Egypt, and then Iraq. They get to Iraq somehow. I don't really know how this gets shoehorned in here, why we're in Iraq, but I think it's to do the whole Tom Cruise as a soldier thief angle, and the thief angle plays into why does Tom Cruise matter in the world of, dark monsters? Well, thieves are apparently important or something, so you'll see. There was just so many things that the film didn't satisfy on, and I heard kind of a collective sort of sigh from the audience. I don't even think our audience really liked it. I know these two guys probably liked it even less than I did. I kind of like the old Universal monster movies and the mummy stuff. So I really liked Sophia in this. I liked her character design. She to me was a good villain. Not the best villain, but just not a shitty, villain. She was a one-note villain, but it was a villain that I could be like, oh, cool. They're putting her in different situations, and they're not making her overpowered, or they're not making her, underpowered. She's got some cool scenes with Tom Cruise and with the other characters, so I liked that aspect. But ultimately, there's no. If this is supposed to launch your universe, it's a really limp fucking, launch.
It's a wet
I'm not looking forward to anything
Just
else
like
right
the
now.
Mummy, it kind of slowly crawls out of there.
And it's a little bit offensive too. Like,
what do you mean?
They expect us to be completely on board with multiple movies, and to me, it was like they crammed it in my face so much that I'm almost tempted to be like, "Fuck your movie!" Like, fuck you! You didn't earn my money. Get out of here.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and give final verdicts, and we can move to the spoiler section, so we can talk a little bit more about what we were trying to do. Joe, what would you give this film out of 10?
Out of everything, the characters...
And a pro and a con, really.
Okay, the characters were pretty much replaceable, expendable. I didn't really care about none of them, obviously, except for Tom Cruise, because he's
doing a good job.
He did all right. And Sophia, hot mummy, so I give it that. No chemistry. The movie was too long.
Oh, yeah.
And the ending was just terrible for me. I really hated.
Yeah, it made it feel like, well, what was the fucking point? Anyway, we'll talk about that.
So, after everything, I'm going to give this a 4.
Ooh,
a 4.
Below average,
watch
4
it
out
on
of 10.
Netflix if you're bored or something.
Yeah. Or rather, let me say this. Would you recommend people watch the original Mummy over this?
Yeah. Wait,
Well, not the original.
The Brendan Fraser one is
Fraser
better.
Mummy.
Yeah.
The original one, that was what, 1960?
Pretty old now, but there's tons of them. What
Yeah.
would you give it down?
So I watched the Brendan Fraser first Mummy before we came to watch this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in so many years.
You watch that, and then you watch this like within 24 hours, and they had so much to go off of, and so much to figure out, and so much time to put this together and everything. And with the miscastings, the boring plot, the really drag going on, and just watching the Mummy, and I'm not like nostalgia stricken or anything. Standing up to each other, the original Brendan Fraser Mummy is better, and so because of that, it's a 4. I agree completely with OtherJoe, because you just don't care. At all through the entire movie. You just don't care.
There's some side characters here, but mainly it's focusing on the main cast, right?
Yeah.
Your Tom Cruise character, Jenny, the archaeologist, and Russell Crowe. But if there's no intertwining relationships there that you really care about, even Tom Cruise and his sidekick best friend, if none of these relationships are ringing true, then you just don't care, and you're just watching it for the action set pieces. And there's a few that are satisfying, but not enough. And that's why I agree completely. I would have given it a 6 out of 10, but thinking back in that third act on how much it leans on the relationship between Jenny and Tom's character, I don't even remember his name, Nick, and it just doesn't work. And so for that, because it was a pivotal point there and it didn't work, I'm going to go with a 5 out of 10. It's an average movie. The reason why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 is that's the spectacle. That's the mummies being the thralls being created and then moving all cool, the airplane scene, and sort of the special effects spectacle, the disaster type of stuff that comes with these big budget films. That I would watch it for. But if it honestly, if it comes on, I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't buy it. Maybe I would. Maybe Netflix. No, because I would just watch the Brendan Fraser one.
Yeah,
honestly,
you would.
Fraser, I don't know, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was disappointed, and so. Is this going to be a DC situation where a lot of people were saying the first films in DC are not very good, and they're stumbling until Wonder Woman, and maybe we're going in the right direction. We'll see. Can Universal suffer this stumble? Do you think that they're going to be like, I don't care if The Mummy does poorly, we're going to do another one at least? Do you think that if this does poorly, they will still do another one? I mean, they took that picture with...
I mean,
They will.
They're already under contract.
All
It
right.
seems they hired those actors. The fact that they sat down and were doing photos and they've got roles figured out.
I think
there's
if one-
contracts already done. Like they.
I'm not sure if Universal can take as many hits as well. I don't know, as WB. Maybe they can. But I think that if it fails at the box office and it is critically panned, which it looks to be right now, if that happens a second time, we won't see the rest of the Dark Universe. So
It's Monster Squad.
So that's I like Monster Squad. That's a good. That's a little like Goonies in the thing. But I think they shouldn't do like Bride of Frankenstein next. Should not be next.
No.
If you're desperate, then it should be something like Johnny Depp. Even though I'm not even ready for. I want Javier's Wolfman. If you're gonna give us another one. Because I know Javier's a good
more convincing
actor.
Dracula.
Or maybe he is Dracula. I don't know. Or maybe there hasn't been a Dracula announced. But yeah, maybe we will see a Dracula eventually. But you know what? I'm not excited for the universe, and so 5 out of 10 for me. Really poorly done. I think Man of Steel did a much better job at being just its own film and then starting a universe. Iron Man was its own film, then started a universe. Here, they are blatantly trying to start a universe, and it doesn't even work on that first film. So bad news for Universal. And that's it for us, guys. Stay tuned if you want some of the spoilers real quick, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Okay, welcome to the spoiler section.
Let me go real
She
talk.
was a booty call.
Who was a
What are
booty
you
call?
talking about?
Jen.
Oh, Jen, yeah. we
Jen
don't,
was
we don't
basically
actually
just
even
a
really
one-night
see.
stand.
We almost don't even really see any romance,
You don't.
which I'm thankful for because they had no chemistry in the first place. I don't even think they kiss. Do they ever kiss?
No.
No.
No, they never fucking kiss. And so, you don't even buy any of this shit.
So, why didn't they show off the whole thing for Tom Cruise to establish his character? Like, they go and they tell a story about how he seduced her and faked romance and he's been selling
Why didn't
things.
they show that? You're
And
right.
they were like, he stole the map. He could have been like, they could have established his character as like a fun-loving but scoundrel guy. They were just like, this happened.
I heard people compare it to Nathan Drake. This is the Nathan Drake movie. No, it's fucking not.
It's really not.
Like, maybe it kind of alludes to the stuff that he's a thief and he kind of does all that stuff, but you never really see it except for the one scene in Iraq where, he's like, let's go over here. Where's your sense of adventure? And then they go over. That's like one of the only cool parts in the film. They're under fire and like, fuck! And then they call in an airstrike, and that just so happens to create a hole in the ground. And there's the fucking tomb at that fucking location right there. They open that up, and then Tom opens the fucking tomb by shooting the rope
Counterweight.
and fucking unleashing this thing. Even though he knows that he's having visions and this place is not very good, but he just wants money, right? So he does that, and he becomes suddenly the chosen one. I don't know why Tom has to be the chosen one. I guess because he's the star power of the film.
He was looking at the cat.
He's the cruising one.
Sarcophagus.
He's the cruising one.
I don't know what
That's
that
a bad
means.
pun because he's Tom Cruise.
I
Oh,
gotcha.
come on.
Uh,
Okay, first of all,
Mercury, I like the way they used Mercury, because they kept her in a pool of mercury in order to sort of dampen her powers and disable her. That was cool. And Sophia, is hot. She could control camel spiders. We get a little bug scene. I was hoping to see bugs because Brandon Fraser had those scarabs. I think scarabs are cooler, but
Oh, yeah, they were
camel
scary,
spiders
too.
were still pretty
he like
scary.
bit him one time and that was it.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
fine.
okay.
And then they all fucking ran off. But it was funny where he's shooting camel spiders and he's like, dude, you're not doing anything.
I gotta point out one
actually
thing
got
too.
one.
You know that whole thing where they set him up as he's in the military? He's active service. He straight up goes AWOL. His commander says, you left your position, you're 100 miles away from where
Yeah,
you
it's like,
are.
that's cool.
I know what you're doing.
Whatever.
And instead of court-martialing him, which
Yeah.
is anybody would have done, you just obeyed orders, you're going to jail.
They help
They
him.
They were like, okay, no punishment, haha, you're still
Not even that, but then the archaeologist lady shows up and says, oh, there's some shit here, help me. And they're like, all right. Now we're an archaeologist.
Like, who the fuck are you to judge?
We're over here fucking
military.
fighting ISIS and fucking terrorist fighters and insurgents, and you're going and we're fucking whatever. Whatever.
There were things like that through the entire movie, and that's what I was talking about. Suspension of disbelief, and then the C-130 scene. There was no fucking reason for them to leave.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the
so
C-130.
they basically get these sarcophagus,
Yep.
and they're like, okay, well this is worth such and such money. Let's transport it out, and we'll see what and preserve it.
Yep.
But as they're flying over, they have to get out right away because there's a sandstorm. But no, because planes don't take off in the middle of sandstorms like that, and there was no rush to leave that area. So
They also left like 40 guys there. Like
Right.
all those soldiers that were guarding.
I guess the thing was, the insurgents are coming back. Well, why are we leaving so many soldiers
We
here
have a whole
then?
plane. Why are we leaving like 40 dudes to
Yeah,
die?
so that didn't make any sense because the plane seemed to take off from a base of some sort, at least an airfield, and they were in a rush to take off to beat the storm. and then they beat the storm. But it was just an excuse to have sandstorm in the film so that they beat it. And then the fucking crows slam into the plane crashes in London. It just so happens to be that is where this artifact is, Set's dagger. The whole thing is Tom Cruise is the chosen one. He is supposed to be turned into literally the god of death in Egypt or Satan himself by the mummy chick stabbing him. And then they will have the power to rule together. And
I would have said fuck yeah.
Yeah, Joe would have said fuck yeah. And he ends up stabbing himself. So, okay, well, does that mean he's now Set? Does that mean Tom Cruise is fucking Satan?
That's what they did, yeah.
So now he has the powers of Satan, then that's how that film ends. But he can somehow control Satan? What?
Because he's got a good man in him.
It's just so fucking stupid.
Well, maybe
he's mysterious and he covers up
a little bit. So maybe he got half of the juice. Is that what happened?
because he stabbed himself instead of her stabbing him?
Well, what was it? Tom Cruise basically.
Oh, he broke the gem a little bit to piss off the mummy and was thinking about breaking it completely. But he saw that his girlfriend Jenny died, and all of a sudden he cares, even though he was he shouldn't care because he tried to leave her behind the first time Mummy showed up, which was the only fucking funny part in the film. Well, two funny parts. He just fucking gets in the car and drives off, and she's like,
"It's like, will you leave me?"
She was like,
"Did you see that?
Did you see fucking mummies? Did you see?"
It was one of those things where it was like, the ending was so disappointing because you knew it was coming a mile away, and the whole thing with like her trying to free Set or by like killing Tom or whatever, they did that same sort of shit in the first Mummy movies with Imhotep and the other chick that actually set him free.
Yeah.
And by the god coming out and wanting to fight, that was a way better bad guy. And I'm fine with her being in the movie the way she was. But if she had just succeeded and you were fighting the god of death,
that
would
have been cool.
And that's what they did in the original Mummies. You were fighting basically a god.
Mm-hmm. And then, Dr. Jekyll would have to come, and then maybe he lets Mr. Hyde take over so he can fight Satan, and they're just doing this brawl-out fucking fight between Satan and fucking Hyde because he's such a, masochist and wants to get hurt and wants to cause pain on everything, and that would have been fucking awesome. But no, that's not the direction they go. Tom stabs himself so that he can have powers and he can be one of the monsters, and then they're like, now he has become one of them, a monster. But maybe he's good. And I was like, fuck. And we knew this was coming.
Bad,
I was like, why can't he just be a thief in the fucking thing and the leader? But no, now he has the powers of Satan or death.
Basically Satan. What I was talking about with like Prodigium being like retarded, pardon the word.
Yeah.
But like, so when they first show up, they show up with like 100 soldiers.
Yeah, and they fuck up the mummy, and I
shit.
like that because I was like, okay, they do. You could tell they fought other people before. You look at their vats. I could have swore I saw a lagoon creature's hand, but they probably
Dracula's
are fucked. They weren't. We
skull.
need vampire skull, Joe. I doubt it's fucking Dracula.
Okay,
He's gonna
one
be
of the
the
vampires.
leader.
Then they go back and they have her under containment, and they even say we had to throw this together. We don't know how to contain her. They have one guard.
Two guards.
Two guards.
Two guards at a computer station.
they
One
had-
of them gets a spider in his ear and lets her free.
But none of them, only one was armed, and that was the guy she was fighting. He comes out and dies. But they had 70 people to attack her, and they had one guard defending her with a shitty system.
Yeah.
And they've dealt with this for thousands of years.
And they're like, you're the most ancient and dangerous creature we've caught.
We have
one
no
guard,
guards."
please.
And that's what I was talking about.
Oh, two guards, please.
They even went so far as to saying, we've been doing this for, hundreds of years. And then they leave the most powerful thing they've ever fought with one guy.
They need a break, all right?
One
So
guy.
it was
It
just
was like, hey, we'll be back in 5 minutes. You want something? They all left.
contrived, poorly written,
Yep.
sort of set piece to set piece. Goes from basically the plane crash to the sandstorm to the underwater mummies to the final battle where they were just drag out fighting. I liked that part where Tom was like, there's several parts in the movie where it's like, she's just a girl, I'm gonna go fucking beat her
And
fucking
she just
ass.
stacks
And
him.
she just
Slapped
stacks him. He
him.
like flies across the screen like a cartoon, like kind of thing. And then towards the end of the movie too, when she's like, come to me, and instead of him, walking over to her, he's like, "Rah!" like trying to charge her, and she goes, bam, and he's like, They never really say he's invulnerable.
Kind of do.
They do, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they
he's
don't.
cursed.
He's the chosen one. He's cursed, but does that mean he's invulnerable?
Yeah, you
Well,
can't
yeah.
hurt him.
He
basically,
died.
'cause, yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody was wearing plot armor, and
Yeah.
that's what I didn't like. For example, Jenny, the first time Jenny encounters the mummy is on top of Tom Cruise and about to stab him, and then she looks over and Jenny comes in. And then so the mummy chick goes after her, but the second he gets her, she's just like that, instead of like doing the same thing she's done to everybody else, which is grab her immediately and suck her innards in,
Yeah.
you know, and turn her into a thrall.
not only
But
that-
she's got plot armor. It's like, why the fuck didn't you turn her into a
But
thrall?
this was like a functioning church, and she knocked her through 3 church pews, which are solid, basically trees. And she just gets back up like, I'm fine, guys. Don't worry. I'm fine.
It's the adrenaline, Dale.
And then, like I
Woo!
said, Tom
Do
Cruise
it again.
died. Like, he was dead. And he came back to life when he was immortal. And so
Yeah,
why
I
did
guess
they ever
you're
play
right.
on that in the movie where, I can't fucking die, fight me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they never did that.
So, you know, that's why when you want to create a universe, this is a lesson learned. You want to create a cinematic universe, you don't worry too much about setting it up. You have to make a good fucking film first. You don't say, well, fuck, we need to give time to Russell Crowe's character. Fuck, we need to have a bunch of exposition setting up the fact that Tom will eventually become powerful enough to be one of the monsters so that he'll have his own thing. And, you know, all this shit, it just confused the movie. The tone's all over the place. The writing's crap. You could tell that there's tons of writers in this, tons of screenplay writers. So it was just all over the place. So don't waste your money or time. If you're looking for something scary, I want to see that other film. It comes at night. You know, if I want to go for a horror, if you want to go for mummies, watch Brandon Fraser's stuff. It's been years now, and I bet you'll get more mileage out of that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And save some money. All right, guys. Once it's on Netflix or TV, check it out then. But save your time. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.